Hello and welcome back to Eye on Iowa. I'm Sarah Mueller, a reporter with Forbes, and today I am joined by Barb Heki, who is the co-founder of Grandparents of Homeschoolers. You're co-founder with your husband, and you have decided to endorse Donald Trump for president. You've done this as an independent decision, not as a part of the organization. So I just kind of want to get to know, to start, how did you make that decision with such a dense pool of candidates?
Oh, we were on President Trump team the last time when he was elected. So with this dense pool of candidates, usually I would go and talk to all the candidates, and I talked to some of them, interview them. This time I knew I didn't even need to, because he just totally proved himself. He really did make America great again, and I want him to go back there and do the same thing again. I don't want to test out somebody new who hasn't done what he's done before.
So what led you to choose Trump over DeSantis, Nikki Haley? There's so many other options out there.
I think, definitely his proven record on what he's done. And what I compare it to is like if you've got a corporation and the CEO has just brought that corporation to, wonderful productivity, the employees are happy, everything's going great. And so is the board of directors going to say, well, there's a couple department heads out here who have done great in their departments, and, they'd like to be CEO. Maybe we should get rid of the CEO we have now and bring up one of these department heads. And so I kind of look at that as similar to what's happening here. You've got a whole slew of people that are great people, but they're untested in the role of the presidency, dealing with international leaders all the time. And Trump's done it. He's done a good job. So there's really no reason to try out somebody else.
Now, I think a lot of people are wondering, we had a Biden-Trump face-off in 2020, and some of the GOP members are wondering, can Donald Trump go up against Biden again? How do you think this election will be different?
Totally different, because we've had 3 years of the Biden administration, and our country has just gone down, down, down in every single area you can think of, whether it's military strength, the economy, oil independence, employment, everything. And so I think that this election is totally different.
I think a lot of people are sitting in different camps of what they care about most, right? We've got parents, we've got single individuals who are just trying to make a living. We've got all different people who have different perspectives of what they care about. Now, you're a grandparent as a member of your organization. What, as a grandparent, do you care about most?
I care about leaving my kids a legacy that is going to be what our constitutional republic was formed on, those principles and values. I want a safe environment for them. There's so many places they can't go. It's dangerous out there. There's so much lawlessness. I want peace throughout the world, which I think Trump will. During his time, he's the only president where there's never been a war started, or added to, and foreign leaders feared him. They don't fear anybody else. They don't fear any of the other candidates, and we need that fear and respect for America. So I want my grandkids to grow up in that kind of a situation. Religious freedoms, obviously, the freedom to homeschool, just general freedoms that we have in our Constitution, all of them.
Now, endorsements always kind of are an interesting thing, especially given us here in Iowa being kind of the starters of the race. What do you think is the importance of you endorsing him as a religious leader? He had you on his list of people from Iowa who are religious leaders endorsing him. What do you think the importance of that is?
I think the importance is that, I am very strong conservative Christian. I want, where am I going with this? I want people to know that policy is super important. You can't just look at your one issue. The policy is what happens to us. It's what is done to America. So we have to look at policy. Number one, what is that candidate going to do? With President Trump and with the Biden administration, we have seen what they do policy-wise. Everything that President Trump did policy-wise, just about everything. You don't agree 100% with everybody. You don't agree with your spouse 100%, but I'd say 98%. I was on board with him, and he kept his promises. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem in Israel. So many presidents said, "I'm going to do that." Trump actually did it. He's a man of his word, and so the policies that he did before, he's going to do, and he's learned so much more now. I really think that he's learned the depths of the swamp, because they've just been after him from even before he was elected, and he is the most resilient man out there.
Speaking of, some of the people have been talking about the legal issues surrounding him being kind of a part of this whole circus, right? And then others have said it is shining light on maybe years of misdoing. So we just saw him in court this week. How do you think that's going to impact his campaign, especially here in the Midwest?
Well, like he says, every time he gets indicted, his numbers go up. I think people are really upset that, they're going after him for every little thing, and they're not going after anybody in the Biden administration for anything. You've got all kinds of evidence that was covered up by the FBI and the DOJ and things with Hunter Biden and now Joe Biden. And it's just so unfair. I think people are waking up and they're getting mad. And that's why the New York Times had 22% of Democrats now are going to vote for Trump. I think they're seeing the inconsistency and unfairness and just within our own government system. And I think that they believe he is the one that will clean it up. If we keep the Biden administration in there, they're not going to clean it up.
Now, just last night, Governor Kim Reynolds endorsed Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for president. Obviously, this is a big mix-up because she said she wasn't going to endorse anyone. She has historically been a supporter of Trump. How do you think that's going to play us out?
I don't think that it will impact him at all. He's already not participated in the debates, and his numbers just keep going up. He doesn't need debates. He doesn't need endorsements. They just want him to be president. So I really don't think that'll impact anything. I love Kim because she and the Iowa legislature just got some great parental rights legislation through this session. And so, she was awesome, and so were they. We're some best in the nation. And so, she's done a lot of good things. We do disagree on this subject. I'm not sure why she endorsed him per se or endorsed at all now, but everybody makes their own decisions and has their own reasons. But I don't think it will really impact anything. People have already kind of decided.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that a lot of GOP members are discussing right now are the independents, right? The moderates, the people in the middle of the road. How do you think Trump can sway those independent voters, given that like I said, we've already seen a Trump-Biden face-off?
Well, they're watching everything that's going on. I really think that America, whether it's independents or Democrats or Republicans, I really think that most Americans are family-oriented people, and they just want to live their lives. And so I think that they're looking at that, and President Trump kind of had that atmosphere in our country where everybody could live their lives, have freedoms, and things were a lot better. And so I think that the independents are really going to be swayed toward Trump just because of what they're watching play out.
Absolutely, but only time will tell. Barb Heki, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.